So what's our intro going to be?
So I'm pretty sure I'm wearing the same exact outfit that I did for our last video.
Yep. Um,
Hey,
promise it's been
puppies.
washed.
Yes, it has been. I literally just pulled it out of the hamper.
Yep.
Hello, friends. We are here with another review.
We gotta work on our naming conventions here.
No, I think it's so cute. All right, we're here with another
Ah,
preview for Dune Prophecy, episode 1. And I'm so excited about this because I think it's difficult for us to find shows that we both like a
mm-hmm.
lot. And I think we both really enjoyed episode
I
1.
mean, I got my hopes up that it's gonna stay good and be good for the long term. I don't
Yes.
know. We never know. We're gonna get Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones was so sad. That
Yeah.
was such a big, fat disappointment.
But we're here with Dune.
We are here with Dune.
So
Yep.
let's give it the rundown. How did it start?
Okay,
What happened?
so it started with the first superior mother falling ill and getting ready to die.
Yeah,
And then,
she looked like an old raisin of a lady.
yeah, she was a raisin.
They definitely CGI aged her,
Uh-huh.
and
Yep.
it didn't look great.
Right.
But she was obviously very, very old.
Yeah.
So
So she started dying, and there was another sister who was like called to the bedside of Mother Superior, and she has the insight um, into wanting things to be different for them, right?
yeah, so
To,
the old Mother Superior,
yeah,
she wanted to exert a lot of control over the universe. She got a
yes.
group of ladies, a bunch of bad bitches, and they're not the Bene Gesserit yet.
No,
They're not there. They're not as all powerful as they were in the Dune movies.
right.
They don't have mind control powers yet,
Hmm.
and
Yeah, they're building
they're building their
their own
power.
history. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
building their power.
and a big part of that is eugenics.
Yep.
The eugenics. Yep, it's back.
And that was interesting because I've never read the books. I don't
Yep,
know the lore, the history
yep,
behind Dune. And so I thought that was really an interesting component of like, oh, hey, eugenics, we're going to get our people in there
yep.
so that we can rule the world, essentially.
Yeah, they want to breed like perfect leadership for
Yes.
the universe or the empire, and of course they want their people on top so that they stay in control.
Right. And they think that by doing that, because they are seers and they can foretell, future events, that their way is superior.
Yes, this takes place 10,000 years before
Paul.
the Dune movie, the first Dune
Yes.
movie.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the houses are the same.
Yes.
We've got one member of the Atreides house,
Yep.
and he'll pop up later.
Mm-hmm.
But
Hi, babe girl.
the woman that Mother Superior called up to her deathbed is Valia
Valia.
Harkonnen, which of course are
Mm-hmm.
the antagonists of the Dune movies.
Yes.
Um, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. Like,
And
it's exciting to see the background behind Dune.
and then this is also but takes place between like 90 and 120 years after humanity defeated AI.
Yes. So AI now in Dune Prophecy is words are evading me tonight.
It's illegal.
It's illegal.
Actually,
So
yeah.
you
Um,
can't own any type of thinking machine.
in all the in the Dune books and the Dune universe, there's a lot of things that aren't legal technology wise.
Yep.
So like interspace travel, like interstellar travel,
Mm-hmm.
we would think, oh, use a computer for it, but not them. They use like jacked up monsters shot full of spice.
Right.
Hopefully, we'll get to see one later.
Yep. Yeah. So that was interesting. So Valia gets the opportunity to take over the sisterhood,
Wow.
and
She doesn't
I,
get the
I
opportunity.
was just about to say that by well, she attempts to try to convince um S- Mando, sir. He's trying to eat my book. No. He's trying to eat my special edition of Iron Flame.
You can't eat the special edition of Iron Flame.
Sorry, our kitten is trying to eat one of my favorite books.
Yeah.
Anyways, so she knows that there is something big happening. She's had a vision and she is trying to lure the rest of the sisters to follow her. But
There's two factions.
there are two factions. There are
Yeah.
the Zealots and then there are Valia's followers.
And the zealots don't really want to take over as
They don't
much.
want to expand. They just kind of want to be there to
Mhm.
serve
And
and
they're led by the previous Mother Superior's
granddaughter.
granddaughter. So like
Yes.
her grandma dies, and then she's like, "Well, I immediately disagree with everything you've said. Me and my people are not going to do what you said."
Correct. And so Valia tries to convince her to not go against what her grandmother had said. And the granddaughter continues. And so Valia pulls out a fucking weapon, and it was so badass.
Well,
Her voice.
yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah,
she found a new power within her voice, and she was able to engage in the mind control, which
yeah,
is what we see in Dune,
yeah. And
which is really cool.
this is news to them, right?
Yep.
The granddaughter of their ultimate leader
Uh-huh.
didn't know this existed till
Yeah.
this lady's like, "Hey, stop going to destroy the eugenics archive."
And her, which we have a theory about that we'll share in just a little bit. But that was such a badass scene where she was like, "Stop!" And it
Yeah,
was really cool.
yeah. She says like in a really raspy, hoarse, magical voice, like
Yeah.
"Stop." She
Yeah.
stops, and
And she gives her the opportunity to join her cause, but she denies, and then she gets the old stabby to the neck.
yeah, Valia tells her like, "Hey, take out your knife and give yourself the stabarooski. Game over."
And then we fast forward 30 years later, Valia is in command. And they are training acolytes, and the sisterhood is much larger, it's much more expanded.
Yep.
And then we get a picture into the emperor's life and his daughter and
Yep. So the sisterhood's expanded to where they have skills that are sought after by all the great houses.
yes.
And the emperor has one that's with him named Kasha.
Yep.
She helps him make big decisions. And one big decision in play right now is who's this guy's who's the princess going to marry?
Right.
Princess Inez.
Yes.
And
Who's a badass. I really like her.
she's pretty cool.
Yeah.
She's pretty cool. She's pretty cutthroat.
Yeah, I like her. So Princess Inez, there's one scene with her mom where Inez is about to get married off to literally an 8-year-old to
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
secure
He's 9.
9.
He's
I'm
9.
so
Big
sorry.
difference.
9.
Yo, that was 8. Gross. 9?
9? Eh,
That's
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 reasonable.
royalty right there.
Right.
That's how you do it.
So, her mom confronts her and is like, I don't want this for you. This isn't, okay. And Inez is like, you're not the only one who knows how to make deals. So I have some theories in my mind of what kind of things she has.
Oh, she 100% wants power, and she wants to
Yep.
use the power of the space nuns
Yep.
to ensure her power on the throne. Like that is
Correct.
her goal.
Yes. And I think she also wants to have her lover on the side too.
I don't think she does.
I think she does.
Really?
Yeah, I think that he's going to come into play a little bit later on.
So who's the lover is
So the lover is her new swords trainer.
yeah.
Kieran.
Atreides. So Kieran Atreides is the new lover.
Yes.
And the Atreides name, of course, like he's the ancestor of Paul Atreides.
Yes. So I think that they're going to end up doing the bangity bangity, and that's how his lineage starts, is with her.
I don't know, because the Atreides are already a powerful house.
Okay.
And they do bang. I think he's just the right now guy.
You think he's the right now guy? But
Honestly, I think he's I think he's her fuck boy.
but I think but he's Paul's ancestor. And I think that they're going to get together. I just have this feeling.
I don't know well, we'll see what happens. I don't think they're blood related like that. That never came up in the Dune movie.
Who's blood related?
Them and the Carinos, the
Right.
Atreides and the Carino line.
Right.
That'd be kind of a big deal.
Okay.
I might be crazy. There is 10,000 years. That's a lot.
Yeah,
of
that's what I'm
generations.
saying.
You
And
get a lot of-
if we're talking about eugenics,
You can get a
And
lot
we're
of inbreeding done in 10,000
That's what
years.
I'm saying.
So
Yeah.
we see a lot of training of the nuns.
Yeah, so there's a lot of training of the nuns. You get to learn a little bit about how they learn their skill of telling who's lying and who's not, which I think is really cool.
So at this point, that's their main draw is they're human lie detectors,
Correct. Right.
and they can go so far as to tell when people think they're telling the truth, even when they're wrong.
Right.
So that's a useful skill to have. They're
Hmm.
also like badass martial artists.
Yes.
Um,
And within the acolyte class, there are a lot of different personalities too that I think will come into play
oh
because
yeah,
there is a very strong empath. There is a liar amongst them.
yeah,
There is one who is like very strict to her vow, very like studious.
yep,
So I think that'll be really cool to see how all of those personalities unfold.
correct.
Right.
Now the marriage that's about to happen between the 9-year-old. Now the 9-year-old belongs to some house. I don't even recall what house. I don't think
No.
it's hugely
He's
important.
he's a lord. His father is a lord. He's
Yeah,
not like a ruler,
yeah.
a true ruler.
They're not a great house. They got money.
Yeah.
They got money, and he's got ships.
Yes, he's
More
got lots of
importantly,
ships.
the emperor needs ships to secure Arrakis so they can
Yeah.
mine the spice.
And Arrakis is where Dune, the movies, take place.
Yeah, so that's been an ongoing problem
Hmm.
for an unknown period of time, at least 10,000 years,
Yep.
where the freemen are, trying to attack the spice. But
Yeah.
but in this instance, well, there's some shenanigans going on. Someone else attacks the spice.
Uh-huh.
An unknown person from a great house attacks the spice and steals some. We don't know too much
We
about
don't
that.
know who that is yet.
But the lord, the father of the 9-year-old, he's got ships to provide the emperor in exchange for this marriage. So
Correct.
it's a quid pro quo.
Yeah. And during the engagement celebration, um so the 9-year old and Inez are sitting on, the dais together, and she looks over and she sees that he's playing with something in his pocket, and she convinces him to show her, and it is
Like a robot
Lizard.
lizard and it's AI,
Yep.
and it starts going around, and
A
a soldier
soldier.
stabs it.
Yep.
Now this soldier, he's a major badass. He's done 12 tours on Arrakis when most
12
don't even
tours.
survive one,
Yep.
and he was thought to be dead.
Hmm.
And later we're going to find out like why
Correct.
exactly. He's a mystery wrapped in an enigma.
He is a mystery. And
Um,
so during the 2 nights before the engagement celebration, one of the sisters, or the seer, who is part of the emperor's
Sasha.
Kasha, yes, sorry,
Yeah.
Kasha, she had a terrible nightmare predicting like Inez's fall, and that the engagement to the 9-year old was essentially really bad
You see, I
news.
thought the vision was that Inez was going to destroy the space nuns.
Mm.
It's not super clear what it was, but there was a blood and burning bodies, and it was horrible.
Interesting. Yeah. I didn't get that, but that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she had a vision. She goes back to the seer place. I don't even know what it's called, but it's where all the seers are.
Wherever
And
nuns
she
hang out.
tries to tell um what's her name? I need the sheet. Give me the
Okay,
sheet.
have the sheet.
You guys, we have the sheet
And
because
she tries to tell.
she goes back and she tells Valia, Mother Superior, I had this terrible nightmare. I think that something is going to happen. And Valia is like, I don't care. This marriage is the marriage that I foresaw, and I'm right, and everybody else is wrong. And so she basically denies Kasha the ability to have any say in either ending the engagement or protecting the princess.
Now her sister Tula,
Hmm.
Tula Harkonnen, like they're both actual sisters and sisters in the sisterhood of
Yes.
nuns. She's like, hey, I disagree. Let's consult the old genetic record and see if this is the right thing to do.
Correct.
The Mother Superior goes and does that, and
Hmm.
she goes solo into like a secret compartment, comes out and says like, yep, what I said was right.
And this is where Brendan came up with this theory that he doesn't even know if the records have ever been real.
Yep.
or if that is just something that the previous Mother Superior created as a way to say, or as a way to get what she wanted. And then now Valia is also using that as a way to tell the other sisters, like, hey, this is what the genetics, have shown me. But we're not sure if that's real or not.
Yeah, basically she's like, hey, if we marry this 9-year-old to this princess, we're gonna guarantee that the emperor's bloodline is good for like 1,000 years. It's
Right.
perfect.
Right.
And I think it's shenanigans. I think she's manipulating things.
Yeah, I agree. I think so too. So then we have the engagement party. We've already talked about that. The
The princess and her brother go party themselves after.
Right. So they go and they party afterwards,
They do some
and
space coke.
they do some space coke, and then the princess ends up with her swords guy,
Yep.
and they do the bangity bangity.
Yep. Kieran and the princess. Bangity bangity.
Yep. They have a great time. And then we get a scene with the emperor.
Is this the one where it's like late at night?
Yep.
Yeah, so late at night the emperor goes into like one of his offices or
It's like a
conference
vault.
room,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and he finds a message left for him,
Yep.
like a recording.
And we don't know who left it.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it was Desmond, the soldier who came back, the
You think
badass
so?
soldier. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Desmond Hart. But the emperor finds this recording and starts playing, and it's like a 3D rendering of the attack on one of his spice miners on
Mm-hmm.
Arrakis,
Mm-hmm.
and it is uh, we see a one soldier stand up from the battlefield,
Yep.
and there's a bunch of worm callers going around,
Yep.
and it's Desmond, and the worm eats him.
Yeah.
But this guy's alive, like he's out in another part of the castle that
Yes.
they're in.
Yep.
This guy, I guess, got eaten by a worm and spit up by a worm, and
Well, he cut his way through.
did he cut his way through?
I'm pretty sure he did.
Oh
Like
shit!
Guardians of the Galaxy style. Yeah.
Just like that. But while he is watching this, Desmond meets with this little 9-year-old kid in the hallway.
Yep. And the 9-year-old brings out his AI toy again,
Yep.
which got stabbed and it's kind of broken. It was really sad
It is
because it
pretty
was a
sad
cute
because
little
it does seem
lizard.
really cool.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
cute little lizard. And Desmond sits down in front of him and he's like, why don't you tell me about the nightmare that you had? Because, the little kid was just awake and not feeling too hot because of the nightmare. And the little boy would not. And so Desmond says, I would be afraid too if, you came across someone who hurt your toy, basically.
Yeah, and then he starts talking to him about how there's like a war going on if you know how to see it, and he sees it
Correct.
everywhere. He
Yes.
tells the kid, you know, wars involve sacrifice,
They do involve
and
sacrifice.
your sacrifice will be very important
And then he burns him alive
with
with his
space magic.
mind, with his space magic. And
Yeah, it's
that
bizarre.
was really wild. I was not anticipating that. And then it jumps to the sisterhood, and Kasha, who is the seer for Emperor
Carino.
Carino,
Yep.
is also burning.
Yeah, and she's like on a different planet
She's on a different
somewhere.
planet.
No idea what's going on, but they like are slowly burning to death.
And literally, like, there was smoke coming out of their mouths and
Yeah,
embers.
it's pretty dark.
Yeah, it was really dark. So that was essentially the end of the episode.
Yeah, what do you think? And did it leave anything open for next episode? Like, obviously the marriage is off because
Correct.
you can't marry the corpse.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't marry the corpse. And I think also we're not sure what's going to happen with the sisterhood because one of the seers just died and the entire acolyte class came out and saw it too. So
Oh yeah,
there's no hiding it
yeah. She's dead.
from people that they don't want to know. So,
Oh, did we say that the big who's coming to join the sisterhood?
oh, right.
Yeah, kind of a
So,
big deal.
yes. So the princess is going to join the sisterhood, and that has been cultivated initially by Valia. because again, Valia wants for there to be a sister upon the throne
Hmm.
of the Imperium. And also, Kaya. Why can't I remember people's names, babe?
What does she do?
The princess. Inez. Kaya. Where did I
I
get?
have no idea where you got Kaya from. It's the Princess Inez.
Yes, so Princess Inez, you can see that she really wants the power of becoming a seer. And I'll be curious to, so you think that she just wants it for raw power to be able to like rule, and she's power hungry. I don't know.
Yep.
I have,
I think she wants to know their tricks so that she's not reliant on them,
uh-huh.
and she can just be a badass leader. I think those are the two things.
Right. And so if we fast forward to Dune, the seers are kind of this mystical group. They're not
The Benny Jesuit.
right, the Bene Gesserit, and they're not very prominent. Like,
Oh no, they're pretty big. Every house has a Benny Jesuit member.
really?
Yeah,
Why am I
they
misremembering
all
that?
want one. They all want one. They don't
They
all get them.
all, that's what I'm saying. So, like, it just felt like we, they weren't as organized, maybe.
Oh no, they're juiced. They're pulling a lot of strings.
Really?
They're stronger than a great house in modern Dune, I think. In the actual Dune
Okay, I
movie.
misperceived that. That's okay, though. That's
I
okay.
might be wrong, but
That's all
I
right.
think they're very strong. Also, like they're known. I don't know if the whole universe knows about their mind control powers.
Yeah.
Because like 10,000 years in the future, they got mind
Mm-hmm.
control powers, like a
Right.
lot of them. But
Right.
right now, we've only seen one use them. As
Right.
far as we know, only one has them.
Right. Yeah, and it's interesting because in Dune Part 2 or Dune 2, Paul gets like this, we won't go into it. Never mind.
Yeah, Paul's unique.
Paul is very unique because he gets a lot of spice and then he can see shit and he like
That's been his thing. That's his whole thing is he can tell the future. He's supposed to have the Bene Gesserit powers, but he's a guy,
right,
and that's a
he's
big deal.
right. That is a big deal. That's what I was trying to get to. Okay. So what did you like about this episode? What were some of your favorite parts?
I mean, I think it planted a lot of good seeds that could
Yeah.
grow into some cool things in the future.
Yeah.
Um, the princess is badass too.
Yeah.
Uh,
I like that.
and they have a lot of characters that are obviously going to be important, but we don't know what their roles are
Why?
yet. Like her
Correct.
brother has some role to play other than just showing up, doing some
Yeah.
space drugs, and going away. I
Right.
don't see him gone.
No, I don't see him gone. I think
Uh,
he's going to have some big
I
moments.
don't think Kieran is going to be just a one time conquest for her. I think
Right.
there's going to be a lot of lust going on in
Yeah.
future episodes.
I wouldn't be surprised if they, so I have this idea that they might fall in love and then she betrays him in some way or something like
Interesting.
that. Like I
I could
think
see
she
that.
might betray him and then somehow that leads to like his rising of power or like, do you know what I mean?
It could happen. I don't know.
Yeah. Or maybe it's the start of something that leads to his family's rise of power.
I
But
mean, yeah. His family were he comes from a family of heroes from them beating up on the robots, the
correct.
AI.
Right. But they're not the emperor. Like,
No, they're definitely not.
right. Um, what else did you like?
I think those are kind of the big things I liked. What about
Okay.
you?
So I this is gonna kind of sound weird, but I actually really enjoyed what the costumers did with the seers. And this isn't really something I picked up on in Dune, but with how tall their garb is and like the tall headpiece that they
Uh,
wear, it makes them,
they're like looming over people. It's
yes,
really kind of creepy.
it's ominous, it's
Yep,
creepy, and it signifies their power. And also, they have a lot of hand gestures that they use to talk to other seers that the emperor and everybody else is like completely oblivious to.
that's kind of weird, but
Yeah,
you think they notice it. But I don't think this universe has cameras.
correct. Because of, I think, some of their laws.
I think so
Right.
because there's a lot of like, but there's not very many cameras. Like this
Hmm.
kid got burnt to a crisp in the palace. They don't. No one's gonna know
No
how.
one's going to know that it was the soldier. Yeah.
No, no.
So I really like the garb that the seers wear, and I'm also really, really excited about the acolytes for
Mhm.
the seers and how their different personalities are kind of going to come out to play. And I think there's going to be a lot of challenges that Valia is going to be forced to face because of those personalities. I think that the
I don't.
acolytes are
I
going
don't
to
think it's
start.
going to be Valia's problem. I think it's going to be Inez's problem.
I think it's going to be both. I
Yeah.
think that there might even not necessarily going to be like an undertaking or a coup, but I think that the acolytes will prove to be a problem for Valia as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
But the setting and the scenes were really beautiful.
Oh
The
yeah.
CGI was amazing. Like they did a great job.
Yeah. It was well done.
Way better than season 1 of Rings of Power.
No, we won't talk about that though.
In terms of CGI.
All right. How do you want to sign off?
Get ready for what is
I don't know what that was.
that? Get ready for cut that out.
I'm gonna replay it multiple times. Actually, it,
All right, this is us signing off. We're probably gonna go watch episode 2.
can't watch it until we're ready to film again.
We can film right after.
No, we'll film something else.
All right, guys. This was another review. Subscribe to our channel, like this video, give it a thumbs up. Let us know what shows or movies that you guys want us to cap and
That's what all the kids are saying. They don't say recap. They're saving syllables by saying cap.
what you want us to recap and review for you. Just wait.
Fucking fuck.